following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Welcome to Gate City Chronicles. I'm Kevin Avard, your host. And today we have a special guest, Sarah Beth Smith, correct?
Yes.
And you are with the Nashua Ballet or Gate City Ballet?
Gate City Ballet.
Gate City Ballet. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Is this your first time on Gate City Chronicles?
It is.
Of course it is, because I would know that. Welcome to the show. It was nice talking to you off camera because you have a little history in Russia. You've been to Russia a few times, Moscow?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yep. I trained a little bit in Russia. Trained a little bit here, there, everywhere.
You trained in Russia? Oh, I didn't know you trained in Russia.
I did.
Interesting. What was that like?
Intense. Very, very intense.
They take it seriously, don't they?
Very.
Yeah.
Very.
I'm sure they take it seriously here. You also trained in Boston as well?
I did. I was a dancer for Boston Ballet.
For how long?
9 years.
9 years. Interesting. Now that's, when people think of dance, it's, you know, I was telling you my stepdaughter, she used to go to dance, and it was here at the Allegro dance here, and she did 5 years, but it wasn't ballet. It was more of a, like a hip hop type of thing, competition dance. Ballet's a totally different art.
It is. There's dance as a recreational form of movement, and then there is the 1,000-year-old performing art form, which is ballet. It has a very, very rich history, and there's a right way, and there's a wrong way, and there's a very specific discipline and syllabi that you need to follow.
Interesting. And of course, you're here to talk about that. Now, the main reason why you're here is there's a particular performance that's coming up pretty soon. It's called the
Nutcracker. Yep.
Yeah. And when and where will that be taking place?
So Gate City Ballet has a not-for-profit youth performing arts company, and this is our 7th annual foray into the Nutcracker. We're performing at the Stockbridge Theater in Derry, New Hampshire, which is Pinkerton Academy. Mm-hmm. We're performing December 20th at 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. and December 21st at 1 p.m.
Okay. Now, how do you get your recruits? How do people come to you? How do you find them?
So we have, because we're not-for-profit and it's a community outreach program, we have...
based in Nashua.
Based in Nashua. We have open auditions to any area dancer who's currently being trained in classical ballet. They have to be 8 years and up, and other than that, there is no restriction. So we have hundreds of students who audition, and then we have a panel of guest judges. I do not make the decision on my own.
Oh, that would be tough.
Yeah, right. And then they decide, and then we put out casting, and then we start right away.
And what do you look for when are you looking for pure talent, or are you looking for people who are giving 100%? What do you look for?
I think it's a combination of both. Within the Nutcracker, there's certainly extreme technical prowess that's necessary, and there's also parts for little guys who just have a beautiful smile and may not have had as much technical training. Mm-hmm. So I think specifically for a community outreach program, the Nutcracker is perfect because it has parts for all.
Interesting. Now, we were talking off camera, you know, Kylie was doing the Allegro dance, and she enjoyed it. She enjoyed all the different aspects of it, and then there was some downtime after spring. And of course, now she's doing lacrosse, and we were saying how that you get done your sport, you got a little break, mm-hmm. Then you go back to it, you got a little break. Not so with ballet. It's more of a lifestyle.
It is. It's incredibly intense. The girls train from September all the way through the end of June, and then I would say at least 90% of them go off and attend very intensive ballet workshops over the summer, and they come back. We jump right back in August.
Now, there's a reward for this, obviously. Obviously, there's that intrinsic value of just performing and the love of the art. But is there a career in ballet?
I think it takes a very special breed to become a ballet dancer. It's not a matter of, can I dance? It's I have to dance. And the girls that we have, they are of that breed. It's certainly a type A personality in order to be able to juggle all of their schoolwork and all of the other pressures that they have on every day being a teenager, because the decision needs to be made early. Do I want to do this? So they juggle a lot, but they have to dance. It's not, I want to dance, I have to dance.
And do you teach? Are you the teacher? Are you the choreographer?
I am.
You do it all?
I do.
From beginning? Okay, you're going to do this move, you're going to plie or...
Plie.
Plie. That was close, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I think. But you set up the entire choreo. I mean, that in itself has to be an enormous task.
It is. It is, but it's worth it. The kids are incredibly talented, and there is a lacking here in Nashua for what we do. So I think it's worth it.
And people are knocking on your door to learn ballet.
Yeah, very receptive. Yeah.
Now, how large is your studio? Where do you practice?
We are over on Northeastern Boulevard, and we have 10,000 square feet. We have 3 working studios.
Is that enough?
It is for now.
I was being funny. 10,000 square, that's huge.
It is, but it works for now.
Right.
So I think eventually we may outgrow it.
And you have hopes of growing then?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the nonprofit, what was the impetus for that? Why did you decide to go with a nonprofit?
If I created Nutcracker only for our studio, I felt like the children who may have some talent, but were perhaps in a competition school or a recreation school and didn't realize that there's another world out there for the kid who really loves ballet, it would give them an opportunity to be in a performance like this. And if it's only once that they want to do it, then wonderful. And if they see another world of ballet, then it opened their eyes. So we decided to create the not-for-profit in order to afford other studios and other dancers that opportunity.
And you also started the for-profit department, obviously.
We started first as a regular studio, and we taught regular classes and did regular recital for 2 or 3 years, then formed the not-for-profit. And currently we perform 3 times a year. We do Nutcracker, then we do a full-length spring ballet. We've done classical ballet, we've done La Sylphide, we've done...
La Sylphide? Mm-hmm. What is that?
La Sylphide. It's this beautiful romantic story of a woman who they're all about women who become jilted, and she kills herself and
that's not good.
Haunts the man who cheated on her.
Oh dear.
Yes, someone always offs themselves in every romantic ballet. But so we've done some classical ballet. We just finished Sleepy Hollow, which is original choreography. We're going into Titanic this spring, and then we always do a June review, which is all of our tap and jazz and hip hop. And this year we're doing The Wiz.
Now, are all these performed in Derry, or are they performed locally as well?
They're all performed in Derry.
In Derry.
Yep, we have a following with the Stockbridge Theatre, and this year is Stockbridge Theatre's 200th anniversary, and we've been invited to do the Nutcracker for them in that capacity, so it's kind of exciting.
Why did you choose Nashua to start your business or your dance studio?
When I was looking for a place to settle, it seemed like this was a mecca for a lot of talented girls who didn't have a place.
A mecca?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Nashua?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of really talented dancers here who don't have necessarily the opportunity or have had the opportunity for true classical ballet training.
And so, how did you know this talent was here?
I didn't. We just opened. We decided, let's try it. I gave myself 3 years to make it a go, and within 6 months, we had kids who would probably want to do this as a career.
Now, when you opened up your shop, I mean, you obviously didn't have enough for a review or a play, did you?
We did. We did.
You did?
Yeah, we did. We did Alice in Wonderland.
How many did that take?
We had only 50 kids at the time, And we
In
did.
your first year, you had 50 kids.
We did.
How did you market that?
We actually, I had no budget whatsoever, so we put out a sign, and I taught everywhere for free. And I went to schools and daycares, and hi, would I like to have a free class? And we got students. We got talented students. So,
how did you prove yourself to the students?
I think
Here I am.
that.
You know, I mean, who are you? And how did you do that? That's interesting.
I think that it's a give and take. I think respect is earned. And I think that whether it's a coach or a teacher, a math teacher or an English teacher, it's both. The student needs to prove that they are listening and want to learn, but the teacher needs to prove that they know what they're teaching. And I think that takes time.
All right, so there's a program on TV. It's called Dance Mom.
I am familiar with Dance Mom.
You don't make the kids cry, do you?
I don't, and honestly, I think that it's almost a disservice because I think that there's such positivity that comes from this art form, and I think it's a really...
A disservice to the
I do.
art.
I think it really is a poor depiction of what ballet and true classical training is. I think that there's a whole group of really positive, supportive dance moms and dads in the community, and I think that that nasty catty rivalry is not really what it is.
It's an art. It's an art. It's also a sport, in my mind, because
I think the athleticism leads itself to believe that it's a sport. There's a really beautiful picture, and it was on Boston Ballet's website. It was a picture of one of their male dancers' legs, and it was right after, I think the Patriots had won, and it was Tom Brady's physique and the male dancer's physique, and the tagline was, "You play football, that's cute." So I think the athleticism that comes with dance is certainly...
I'll take either.
Right. I think that the athleticism that comes with being a dancer, people think that it's a sport, but it's way more than that. It's so much more than that.
It's a real discipline.
It is.
People practice yoga, and they do it on a daily basis. Some are toned, some are, they can do moves that, but it takes commitment and it takes discipline, whether it's dance or any type of thing that you get involved with. If you give it all, obviously you're going to...
Well, and you're asking your body to defy what it's physically made for.
Yeah.
You're pretty much asking yourself to fly, and that doesn't come overnight. That comes with repetition.
Speaking of fly, you had mentioned about the jumping on the horse thing with Sleepy Hollow. Did you choreograph that too?
We did. Yep. It was original choreography.
So describe to me our viewers what you just described to me, the opening for Sleepy Hollow.
So the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, we have an amazing prop master, Ilya Scott, and he's beyond gifted. And he built, off of a prototype from Warhorse, he built this life-size puppeteer mechanical horse. And our dancer led, the opening scene was our dancer coming out on this lit, almost on fire horse, and then coming and beheading the lead character immediately within the first scene. So it was really exciting.
That kind of captivates you, doesn't it?
It does.
And everybody's enthralled. And, as a performer, I'm a singer. I've done many things. I know when I have the people. I know when they're engaged. I know if I'm doing anything up on stage. I know when I have their interest. If they're looking at their cell phones or they're doing this, you don't have them.
I think the highest compliment I have ever been paid was a father of one of the little 3-year-old daughters who said, "I went to the recital with my Game Boy and I didn't take it out." So props to
Very
us.
interesting.
Yeah.
So you do get the audience engaged. I mean, when you think of your typical ballet, you think of going to the theater and the guy's doing this.
I think that that's almost become passé in order to create an entire ballet revival. In order for a ballet to be still current, I don't think that any of the ballet companies, any of the major ballet companies in existence today could still do only a classical repertoire. They've certainly enlisted amazing choreographers and gone into an almost new age kind of creative realm including classical ballet as well. So I think in order to stay relevant, we've had to do the same. It can't just be the same glissade jeté again and again and again. Even the old choreography for beautiful romantic classical ballets has got to somehow be fresh and new.
Are new stories being written for
Yes.
it? Right?
Yeah, we're doing, actually we're doing a new ballet in May, Titanic, and we're taking the original storyline and creating it as a ballet.
You know, people tell stories in different ways, through songs or sitting around the campfire. Telling a story through a dance.
This is our medium. It's what we have to tell. And I think that once you get beyond that there isn't spoken word, there's more language than there is verbiage ever in a play.
Not to confuse then ballet with opera. They're two separate entities. Some people can confuse the two, can't
That's
they?
how ballet originally had begun, was as entertainment for kings and queens, and then it was mildly integrated into opera and then became of its own entity. So it is completely separate. There is some ballet within opera, but it's a completely separate entity.
Right. So when somebody goes to the ballet, they're not going to hear an opera singer or
No.
somebody with horns, or
No.
or they're going to hear just music.
Yes.
And is there anything to help the beginner who's never gone to a ballet to interpret what you're doing, or is it all in the dance?
I think it's within the movement, generally within the playbill for a novice who's going to see a brand spanking new ballet. And I think Nutcracker is one of the easiest ones to interpret. You're going to watch a party, and it's clearly a party. Within the playbill is always, some kind of synopsis of what we're trying to tell. But I think if it's done properly, you don't want to read, and you just want to see. And I think that the beauty of the movement is that it's so much open to interpretation, that when you're looking, and this is specifically what it was intended for, may not be what this person or this person gleaned from the experience.
So somebody goes in for the first time, what do they look for as far as, oh, that was good? Is it just their personal interpretation, or is it the way somebody does a plie, or somebody does a twist or a leap?
I think that if you're a ballet maton, which is
ballet maton,
yeah,
I'm
which
learning
is
the
someone
nomenclature
who is,
as you talk.
I think if you are, have been a lifelong lover of ballet, then you certainly know what you're looking at. But I think if you come away being moved in any way, good or bad, because sometimes you can be moved and still have it affect you and not have it necessarily be the most positive. I think if the movement has affected you personally, then we were successful.
How long is a typical ballet?
It depends. Like I said, Nutcracker I think is the easiest to go and watch, because it's generally about an hour and 15 to an hour and a half, depending on the revision. Swan Lake is 3.5 hours of feathers. So I think it depends on which ballet you select. But I think for most people, Nutcracker is a really good holiday tradition.
It's a lot of intermissions, by the way.
It is. Nutcracker only has one.
Swan Lake.
Swan Lake has 3.
No
It's a lot of
popcorn in the
acts.
theater, right?
No.
Is there somebody that disciplines the audience to shh?
There is, actually. There's an entire culture of how to watch a ballet. And I think that the Gen X on your phone kind of doing this has kind of preceded everything within our culture. And it's definitely an old world experience.
That's a big taboo to bring your cell phone, right? Unless you're videoing, right?
You cannot video.
Oh. Okay.
It's copywritten choreography. You cannot video.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So with the Nutcracker, we have how many?
90.
90.
Yeah.
Now, do you have understudies too, in case
Of course.
somebody hurts a toe
Yeah,
or something?
absolutely.
And I'm being funny. Obviously, you're standing on your tippy toes a lot of the time. They must break. Things go bad.
Well, I think that for the high rate of athleticism that's required for ballet, I think an injury is commonplace, just like with any other athlete. So I think to not have understudies would be naive. So we do. Hopefully, knock on wood, we don't need them, but we do have them in case.
And eventually they'll get their chance at the big roles at some point.
Yeah.
What's a typical practice like?
So we have rehearsals because of the studio running its regular classes and we needing to run rehearsal schedule around the studio's classes. We rehearse on Saturday evenings and we rehearse from about 8 o'clock until about 5 o'clock on Sundays.
Not every day then?
No, it's only the weekends.
Do you require a certain diet for the artists?
We don't. I think that the stigma of there's obviously a ballet aesthetic, and that's obviously a very thin, lithe body. But I think it's gone passé that you need to be disturbingly thin in order to make it beautiful. The only thing that we do require is that you fuel your body enough to support the number of rehearsals that you are in. So it's really not a matter of what you are eating, is did you eat enough? They're burning hundreds and hundreds of calories within that one day, so they need to make sure that they've put good nutrition
How long
in
is
their
the
body.
practice?
We go from 8 until 5 straight.
And what is a typical practice? You walk in, how long is the warm-up?
So each dancer doesn't go, they each have their individual roles. So they're required to come in warm. So all we're doing is choreography and going straight from there. So they'll rehearse their part. They may have a half an hour in between. They may have 45 minutes in between. They need to eat and keep their muscles warm to go into the next rehearsal.
So in a typical play, there has to be a myriad, just this whole number of different movements, choreographies that you have to put together. How do you piece that in a practice? Okay, you're going to do this, 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 this. You're going to do this, 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 this. And you must have, how many of those do you have? How many sections do you train in it? Do you know what I'm trying to get at?
I do. So each individual piece of choreography has to obviously be done in completion before the children walk in the door. So when we have a half an hour for choreography, this is specifically what each of you are doing, and you are coming from this side of the stage, and you are coming from this side of the stage. So it's not, we're just going to piecemeal it right now. Each piece of choreography is finished by the time those kids walk in the door.
You must have them all written down. Okay, this is accomplished, this is accomplished. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's amazing. Typically, how many people show up to these? Do you always sell out?
We do really have great attendance. I think we sold out 2 performances last year. We're intending on all of them being sold out this year. Mm-hmm. We always open up our dress rehearsal for the Boys and Girls Clubs and for several of the nursing homes in the area, so that we do it as a full production for our dress rehearsal straight through.
Do you
so
live stream it at all?
We do.
Live stream it and you videotape it?
We do,
And
yep.
That's available online by?
It is. Dairy Public Access did it for us last year, and then we obviously videotape for ourselves, and that's available through purchase through our website.
Great, so you have a website?
We do.
Interesting. All right, good.
Tickets can be purchased through the Stockbridge box office, which is www.stockbridgetheater.com or 437-5210.
Great, and that is also at the Dairy Field, or?
That's at Pinkerton Academy, which is Stockbridge Theater. Yep.
Stockbridge Theater. Okay, wonderful. Any final thoughts for our guests?
Come and see the show. It's beautiful.
Come and see the show. It's beautiful. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Told you that was quick.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
A nutcracker doll will come alive. A sugar plum fairy will dance. Snowflakes will fall, and smiles from children of all ages will rain down. Gate City Ballet presents the enchanting holiday classic, The Nutcracker. Come and watch New Hampshire's finest performance of this Christmas tradition at the Stockbridge Theater in Derry. Join us and be part of the magic as Clara receives the gift of a dream she'll never forget. Performances on Saturday, December 20th at 1 p.m. and 6 p.m., and on Sunday, December 21st at 1 p.m. Tickets may be purchased by calling the box office or by visiting stockbridgetheater.com.
Thank you for watching Gate City Chronicles, and we want to thank our sponsor, Aardvark, the Dean of Clean. You can reach them at 603-521-7657. If you need your carpets cleaned, call Aardvarks.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.